The court is back in session. And again, the chamber will see the floor to give some points defense to continue putting further questions to this civil party. You may proceed. Councillor Constable, thank you, Mr. President. And continue putting more questions to this civil party. Mr. Civil Party, just then we talk about the Tamok's visit. And you talked about a car parked outside the compound of Karantachand's office. Could a car parked in the inner part of the compound? And was there any case that a car was parked in the inner compound or inner part of the compound? Answer, no, because there was a inner fence and a second fence and a third outer fence, and the car could only be parked at the third or outer fence. Question. Can you tell the court why you were tending the cows near the east gate and that you were about 2 meters from the gate? Answer. No, I did not tender the cows there. Actually, I was walking the water buffalo to drink water through the second gate. And that was part of the gate of the outer fence, outer perimeter. Question. Does it mean the water buffaloes that you tended could also enter the vicinity of the second fence? That is the first, the second, but that it could not go beyond into the inner fence. Am I correct in saying that? Answer, yes, that is correct. It could go up to the second perimeter or the second fence. Question, you also stated that you saw the smoke get off the vehicle. How did you see him? Did you see him when you were facing him, or you were behind him when he was getting off the vehicle? Answer. He was getting off the vehicle, and actually the security guards asked me to urgently move the water buffaloes, and in fact I was to his left, walking my water buffaloes from the hill. Question. Did you take a look at him? Answer. No, I did not dare look straight at him. Question. Was there any special figure or special mark or expression that you could recognize him as Tamok? Answer, no, nothing, but I was told by the security guard that he was star 15. Questioned, that security guard or that soldier, when did he tell you? Was it during the time that Tamok was still there, or after he had left? And if after he had left, how long after he had left that he told you? Answer, Tamok actually already left after I brought the water buffalo back from the pond, and he told me. Question. Was that the security guard or soldier always told you about the events, about the cadres, or about any special events that happened in Karantachand's office? Answer, no, he only told me about this star 15. Question, did he tell you the same day that Tamok came through Krang Tachan, or was it the next day that he told you? Answer, he told me for one time and that was it. Question, my question is that you told us that you were told by him after Tamok left. Was it on the same day or was it next day that he told you? Answer, it was the same day after I brought my water buffaloes back from the pond. I'd like you to look at a document that is a sketch that I just handed to you. Please look at the left side of the sketch. There is a long standing rectangular and it reads grave pits. Swapati, please repeat your question. I did not get it. Counsel, I'd like you to refer to the sketch that I handed to you earlier. To the furthest right, there is a long vertical rectangular. It's not really rectangular, but it's a little bit oval. Can you see it? And it must have a grave pit on it. Answer, yes, I see it here on the sketch, but not at the actual place. Question, can you tell the court the location identified on the sketch, that is that the grave pit, through which direction was it located in compared to the location of Krang Tachan? Answer, it was through the south. Question, what about the size? The size of the grave pit as indicated on the sketch. Can you tell us the actual size? Answer, no, I cannot do it. I cannot make any estimate of it. Question, what about the number of pits within the compound? How many pits were all together? Answer, I could not count all the pits because there were many pits. There were smaller pits and larger pits. One pit, for example, contained only 2 or 3 bodies. Counsel, I'd like you to only specify the number of the pits and not the dead bodies within each pit. Can you tell the court how many pits were all together? President interrupts. The civil party already replies that there were many pits and smaller pits contain 2, 3 or 4 dead bodies, and I think it is clear enough in the Khmer language. And civil party, you do not need to respond to that question. Counsel. The Civil Party replied that there were several pits and that was not an exact figure. President, he said that he did not count the numbers of the pits because there were several pits and smaller pits contained 2, 3 or 4 bodies, and then there were larger pits. Counsel, thank you. Question. Within the vicinity of the grave pits, how many large pits altogether? Answer, I did not count it. Question. Please refer to the lower part of the sketch, and you see there are several circles. In fact, there are a total of 10 circles, and it reads that it's a line of coconut trees and bodies buried beneath. The coconut trees that were planted and there were bodies buried beneath. How many coconut trees altogether? Answer, there were several coconut trees at the beginning, maybe 20 to, there were many, but some of them died, and maybe now there are only 20 to 30 coconut trees left standing. Question. Can you tell us the number of the coconut trees at the beginning? Because you said that there were many. Was it like 100 coconut trees or 1,000? Answer, in fact, I did not count them all. Question. I'd like to ask you about your participation in the burial of the pits. During the time that you were at Krang Tachan, how many pits did you cover personally? Answer, I cannot recall them all because there were so many. Question. What about the number of larger pits that you participated in the covering? Answer, I only did read the smaller pits for those prisoners who died in the prison building. Question. Now I'd like to talk about the period after the liberation in 1979 that you participated in the exhumation of the pits. That is to look for golden teeth of those dead bodies. When you participate in finding gold or counting skulls in each pit, when did you actually do that? Answer, it was the year of the liberation. In fact, I did not engage in finding gold. It was the nearby villagers. Question, did you go there and indicate where the dead bodies were buried? That you indicated through the villagers? Answer, no, I did not. But when I went there, the pits had been dug out and there was a strong smell. Question, my question is, was the digging or the exhumation happened only one time or there were several occasions? And to that, I cannot respond. Question: did you yourself participate in the digging up or the exhumation of pits? Answer: no. Question: did you go there just to observe the exhumation, and if so, how often was it? Answer: no, I only went there during a religious ceremony to bring food there to pray to the dead. Question: did you participate in the exhumation of the skeleton remains in order to be counted? Answer: no, I did not. Question: were you aware of the exhumation of skulls to be counted in order to preserve? Answer: no, I was not aware about that. In fact, there was a committee of clergymen and monks who involved in this process. Question: now I'd like to ask you about the family members of Ye Nyo. You actually stated before this court that you had a close relationship with Ye Nyo and you treated her as mother while she treated you as a son. Can you tell us about this good relationship between you and Ye Nyo? When did it start? Answer: it started when we were in prison together. Question: had you known Ye Nyo's family before you were detained? Answer: no. Question: had you known Ye Nyo's husband before Ye Nyo and her family were detained? Answer: yes, I do. In fact, I had known her husband, Takun, before because he was detained before the rest of the family members. Question: did you get to know Takun only when he was detained at Kantachan, or you had known him prior to that? Answer: I knew him only when he was detained. Question: can you tell the court how long had Takun been detained before Ye Nyo was brought in for the detention? Answer: I cannot recall it. Question: you described about the family members of Ye Nyo, and also in this court you stated the same. Can you tell the court about the children of Ye Nyo? Were there any of her children not detained at Krang Tachan? And if so, how many? And did you know them all? Answer: I only knew those who were detained with me, and if there were any other children outside, I did not know. Question: did you know all of them? Answer: no, I did not know all of them. As I stated, I only know those who were detained with me. Question. Did you know all her children who were detained at the Krang Tachan? Answer. Yes, I did. But I didn't know the actual name of the youngest girl. She was called Milat, that is the smallest girl in Khmer. Question. Can you tell the court all the names of her children? Answer. Yes, I do. The mother was Yenyo, the husband Takun, and then there was Rat and Bun, the in-law, Kha, Khun, Khom, and finally Milat. Question. Can you tell the court what work they engaged in while they were detained at the Krang Tachan? Answer. They engage in the same kind of work that I engage in, for example, plantation and working in the rice fields. We did what we were ordered to do. Question. Did you know whether they were interrogated? Answer. I knew that her husband, the husband of Yenyo and Bun, were interrogated. Question. Did you see that any family members of Yenyo being mistreated? I apologize. When I said about the family members here, I refer to her children or her children-in-law. Answer. I only saw Bun and Yenyo's husband who were tortured during interrogation, and after that they died from the beating. Question. Can you tell the court that Yenyo was the cook at the Krang Tachan's office? Answer. Yenyo was the oldest woman. She was not assigned to engage in any hard work, and she was asked to cook a porridge or gruel. Council, thank you, Mr. President. My next line of questioning is to deal with the identities of individuals at the Krang Tachan, and as we are not allowed to put those questions, we will do them whenever the time is appropriate and when there is a ruling by the chamber. Thank you. President, we only have a little bit of time remaining. And also, today is Friday's afternoon, and the buses will leave for town at 4. For that reason, the chamber decides to adjourn the proceedings today, right now. and will resume Monday the 9th of February 2015 from 9 a.m. And for Monday, we will hear the testimony of an expert to TCE 97. The Chamber is grateful for Mr. Soy Sam's testimony, and your testimony has not yet concluded, and you may be called again by the Chamber to continue your testimony in the near future. You may now return to your residence. And the Chamber also would like to thank the TPL support staff, and you may be excused from the courtroom. And court officer, in cooperation with the RISU, please make the arrangement for the transportation of Soy Sam and another reserve witness to TCCP 303 to return to their respective residence wherever they wish to return. And security guards you anxiety to take the two accused back to the detention facility of the ECCC and have them return to the court room on the Monday morning, 9th February 2015, before 9 a.m. The court is now adjourned.